you guys to episode 23. On today's episode, we're going to be interviewing Richard Turner, the CEO of RJ Turner Remodeling, and we're just going to be talking about all the different things that he does and the things that he's learned through the years.
Welcome to the Home Service Toolbox, a podcast dedicated to helping home service providers. Every Wednesday, your hosts, Brian and Olivia, will interview leading experts in both the home service field as well as companies who support the small business owner. Our guests will help you nail down what will and what won't work to grow your business. Whether you're on a job site or taking a break, there's no better time to sharpen your small business skills.
Well, I am the host, Brian, and I'm joined or rejoined by Olivia, who was not here last week.
I know. I'm sorry you had to fly solo without me, but I'm fully recovered this week, guys, and I'm super bummed I missed Andy, but I'm very excited for this week's guest. I think it'll be a great one.
So I hate to, talk about the coronavirus because, it's, it is what it is around the world, but you did not have that, right?
I did not. I do not. I will not, hopefully, knock on wood, get the coronavirus, despite the state of emergency issued yesterday for the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, so if, you're listening to this podcast in, 2 years, or we may be all dead.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. Don't jinx us, Brian, all right?
Okay, sorry.
Positive thinking.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about the coronavirus or being sick or not missing the podcast.
No, we're here to interview someone really exciting.
Yeah, so Richard Turner is here with us today. He's the CEO of RJ Turner Remodeling. He began in the remodeling business over 30 years ago and started kind of getting into that as a roofing contractor. And just with that experience, he decided to kind of go out on his own to help build a team on working with residential and commercial projects. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So, I don't know what I was going to say. So I'm flubbing it today.
It's okay. Since I was absent last week, I will lead with the first question. Well, Richard, I've never met you before, but I am so excited you're here to join us. And I have to say, personally, since you're one of our clients, I thoroughly enjoy writing for you because I feel like I'm constantly learning so much information about the remodeling business, which makes me ask, why did you decide to go into the remodeling field? What kind of compelled you to enter this field and got you into this line of work?
It was just a little bit strange. I was a little 15-year-old and had a guy ask me to help him out on weekends and started off roofing, just carrying bundles of shingles up ladders and cleaning up the ground. And from there, just started doing it more and more. And before you know it, I was working for somebody full-time, doing roofing and framing and various construction things. And just kind of transpired over the years after working for somebody for a good time that I decided I can do this on my own. Didn't realize how much of a big task that was going to be, but I did tackle it. And here I am. 30 years now. It's really almost approaching 35 years, actually, that first time I stepped up on a roof and actually helped somebody. And now I try to have my employees do that and not me as much.
That's not completely true because the last time I think you were here, you were up on the roof before or going to a roof afterwards or something.
Yeah, I still do it because I still get out and do some of the sales. Yeah. So I try to pass on as much as I can, but it doesn't always work.
Well, let's jump into that. So, as a business owner, we tend to have our hands in lots of different, pots, some good, some bad. So, obviously, the ideal situation is that you're not on a roof, or throwing a hammer or whatever else that you're doing. So what are some of the things that you do to try to not get in the weeds of that and actually not be in the business, but running the business?
That is something I'm continually working on every day. It's extremely difficult because especially when you start it yourself and you're kind of a one-man show, you've got your hands in everything. And then to slowly start giving up that responsibility is extremely difficult. But then you start hiring people around you that are better than you, smarter than you, and can tackle those individual tasks, able to start, delegating those responsibilities to other people, which I'm still working on. It's just difficult, and it's difficult to own and operate the business, and be so deep involved in every little thing that you can't see the bigger picture for your business. Which, over the last, I'd say 2 years, bringing on some key people that are putting procedures and processes in place that I can give up that responsibility to other people to do things. And so it's still a learning process for me, but I'm getting better at it.
Well, I think it's encouraging to just our listeners because, they may be on the side of trying to think about starting a business, or they're maybe in the weeds and they're like, how do I get out? And I think you said the word processes.
Yep.
You talk about, hiring people that are really skilled at maybe things that you aren't skilled at. So it's creating a team that complements one another, right, versus, competing with one another.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I hired you and the company, because I don't have the time or the experience with websites or developing them and blog posts and everything that goes along with it. And it's the best to have a support team around me, which is you guys, to facilitate all that and make it run smooth for me.
Well, we definitely love being able to do that for you. So when you have been discussing, looking for people that are smarter than you or can implement those processes, what do you typically look for when you're hiring, or what did you look for when you were creating this team to help delegate responsibility to over the past couple of years?
People that have a desire, that are driven, that want to take ownership in the business as much as I have. They're happy to work for the company, creating a good environment for them. But I want to see the passion in them to see things done a certain way and to see the company grow, and not just be there, just to collect a check and kind of go throughout the daily process. But, they want to grow with the company, So if they come on as just a tradesman, or they don't have a lot of experience, but they're eager, they want to train, they want people to train them, they want to, watch YouTube videos and gain knowledge and take classes and just broaden their horizons, and knowing that it's not only helping them, but it's also helping the company.
Well, I think that's a good testament to how, as a business owner, it's important to be open-minded and be willing to pursue paths and hire employees that you wouldn't always think twice about. Because, entering my position, I had no real prior experience to what I get to do now besides freelancing, and having the opportunity to train and be motivated by people who are encouraging. I think that's a testament to the importance of taking that leap of faith and placing value on your employees, hoping that the return on your investment is going to benefit you later on down the line. So that's really great to hear. What is an important leadership lesson you've learned over the past couple of years as a business owner?
An important leadership lesson. That's a good question. That probably a lot of it is listening to the employees, really taking in what they're saying and trying to pay attention to them. We've gotten into where we're holding weekly meetings, monthly meetings, team meetings, trainings, but actually, not just, you don't just brush off what somebody says, and really, if we have these meetings and people are addressing certain issues, that, we take it to heart, and they're discussing these things with us for a reason. So really learning to listen and pay attention to what's going on. And I think that falls back to where sometimes I've been so deep into the business and with every little thing, that not seeing the bigger picture, and then not having the time or paying attention to listening to what everybody's saying. So with the delegation of responsibilities, trying my best to step back and look at everything that's going on, with 14 employees and running multiple jobs every day, you can't necessarily, you can't get to all the jobs or see what everybody's doing every day, but holding those team meetings and getting the group together and addressing those kind of needs, I feel like was a big thing.
What would you say is like one of the biggest sacrifices that you've had to make as becoming a business owner and maybe a little bit different than being an employee?
Just being in business for yourself is a lot of responsibility, especially when you've got employees. So at the moment, I sacrifice a lot of hours of every day with where I should be with family and doing certain things because this business is so important to me, and it's important for the employees I have and their families, and everybody kind of depends on you. So, I've kind of been sacrificing things as we've been growing, looking in the bigger picture of, where I'm trying to head in 10 years to where I can start reining back the hours I'm delegating to the business. It's Monday through Sunday, it's every day, all hours of the day, all hours of the night that I'm constantly thinking and working and doing things for the business. And it's just because I want it to succeed. And I feel like, I've got people depending on me. But I'm wanting to, as I start working myself out of being so deep inside and looking at, everything going on around it, that I can spend time with my granddaughter, spend more time with my wife, and we can start doing more things.
Right.
That's something that, I'm working on still.
I think that's such an interesting thing because, when we look towards, we look at other businesses, there's so often that we can say, look at their great success. And we think their success happened overnight. We think their success happened without the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
But the reality is success is not just something that happens. Someone had to put some hard work. Someone had to put that sacrifice in. And so I think it's a good reminder, oftentimes, they say, at least on social media, you only see the highlight reel of people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I think with, businesses, us looking, from the inside or the outside in, it's very easy just to kind of see the highlight reel,
Yep.
And not realize what's going on behind the scenes. And, we moved downtown there. Everyone's probably like, hey, that's great. You guys are doing great. We just made the hardest transition from project-based work to retainer-based work that we've ever done in our lives. And I don't think I would ever do it again if I had to do it all over again. But it was hard.
Yeah.
And on the outside, it may look like, oh, everything's easy and peasy.
Yeah.
But, as you said, the sacrifice you had to make. But, I'm assuming that you enjoy being a business owner.
Oh, I do, and I enjoy the challenge. And so it's sacrifices now, but I want to do them, and I'm willing to do them, because, I know with the team around me, and I know what possibilities are out there for us, and, what growth hopefully and potentially lies ahead for us. So, it's definitely, I'm sacrificing, but it's something I want to do.
What do you see being the final destination with all these sacrifices, in 5 or 10 years? What would be the ideal outlook, do you think?
Retirement.
Okay, that's fair.
I do have kind of a 10 to 15 year goal. I'm going to be 50 this year, and
You do not look anywhere close to
I was going to say I would have had no idea at all.
June I'll be 50. So
if I can look that good at 50, man.
So, but I thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. But that my goal is in that 60 to 65 year range. To be able to be step back even more. Where now I'm 80 to 100 hours a week minimum. And working towards where it's a 40 to 50 hour week. And then just kind of decreasing the amount of time, but still having this business and, kind of passing it on. And that's definitely a goal for 10 to 15 years from now.
Very cool.
Well, I think just knowing if you had, I don't think we ever really had the conversation about like what's next for Turner Remodeling, and if you had said, retirement without me knowing your age, I would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, I guess some people want to retire young, but
I mean, I don't think I'll ever like be fully out of the business.
Right.
I mean, it's just I've done it for so long. I'm sure no matter what, it'll still keep going.
Yep.
But it'd be more time to spend with family and vacation and do things that you want to do, whether it's fishing or golfing or whatever it is. Just having that flexibility.
Yeah.
So I hate to bring up the coronavirus again, but the coronavirus is rocking the world of business right now.
It is. It's scary.
And I don't want to talk about doom and gloom, but I mean, you're in an industry that potentially has items that are more luxury, more choices versus the necessity. So I'm sure this probably goes through your minds, and maybe you're wishing I hadn't brought this up, but what are some of the things that you're doing to, obviously, whether it's because of the coronavirus or something else, in the years to come, we're going to see a downturn. It's probably not going to be like the 2008 where everything crashed, but there's going to be something. So what are things that you're potentially thinking about and doing and strategically positioning right now to be prepared for that?
I guess part of that is just building a strong foundation in the business. Like we mentioned, the processes and procedures and things, trying to get to the point where everything is tracked. And because I have been crazy enough, been bringing this up in our team meetings and to the guys like, hey, things are great, but at any point, the economy could turn down. You have to be prepared for it because it has been well over 10 years since we've had, any sort of significant downturn. But I've always felt that if we build a strong foundation for the business and we have a strong team, that we can weather the storm. Because there's still going to be remodeling going on. There's still going to be people who need a roof on their house. There's still going to be people who want things. And, if and when things do turn down, we want to come out of that even stronger.
Right.
So, you have to watch expenses, which that's something we're working on too, because it's really easy for those things to get out of hand. But watching expenses, building a strong team, building the presence that we're trying to do now with, our advertising and things so that we can, like I said, weather the storm and come out on the other end better.
That's a really good strategy. I mean, I've always been taught prepare for the worst and the best of times. That way you know what to expect and you're in a positive mindset to do it, because if you don't plan ahead and you're not proactive, then you're not prepared. So I think that's a really great strategy. And to kind of go along those lines of strategy, what's something that you wish you knew when you started your business that you know now?
I guess there's a lot of things. What would be a key one? Oh, goodness. You put me on the spot there. What's one key thing?
It could be a couple. Like, if you could go back in time and tell yourself, what would it be?
Since you're almost 50, what would you tell your 30-year-old
that's
self?
a good one.
Invest in Google and Apple and go ahead and buy that stock when you should have. Paying more attention to, like, over the recent time frame last year or two where we've added, key software programs and things and started learning to properly and accurately track job costs and individual things inside a business, really knowing your numbers. It's amazing how much I didn't know. Where you think you're pricing jobs accurately, and then you look back on the numbers afterwards, and when you really have good programs, we use a program called Co-Construct, and we've got HubSpot and, of course, QuickBooks. And once you start putting all the data in there and you realize how much costs are truly associated to each project, it's amazing. It's amazing how far off you can be. You think you made money, but once you're done with it and you start looking back and you go, wow, we really didn't. So looking back, like pricing jobs accurately, pricing what you're truly worth, taking care of your customer, kind of packaging all that together, that's something I wish I had known years ago, and realized how much further along I would be.
What do you think was the blinder? Like, what do you think, years ago that prevented you from even thinking about having the tools in place or knowing the numbers that you?
Just taking on too much stuff on my shoulders. I was doing everything, and because I was doing everything, I wasn't. It falls back to one of your podcasts where you said recently it was doing so many things and you do nothing well, or something similar to that, and focusing on your key strengths.
Right.
That was something, because I was doing everything and I wasn't doing each of the individual tasks exceptionally well.
Right.
And, so kind of falling back to the team around me, where each person is doing their task and do that exceptionally well, allows the business to do better.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it's perfect. And interesting, we have Co-Construct coming on as one of our podcast episodes in the near future. And I think it's going to be great to be able to dive more into that exact piece because, yes, these tools cost.
Yep.
But if you're using them correctly,
yep.
And you're using them efficiently and consistently, it's going to show you what you don't know.
Exactly.
I'm an assistant of an assistant of an assistant soccer coach. Okay, so all right, so on the back of my T-shirt, it could just say ASS a lot, But anyway, the reason why I bring it up because the real coach of the soccer team, not me, had the kids run through a really tough passing drill, and after it, he had a team. He asked the team, well, out of 10, how do you think our team ranks? And they were like, 7 and 8. And then he said, well, how do you think we ranked when we did this drill? And they were all like -5.
Yeah.
And he's like, this drill identified and showed the things that we need to work on.
Right.
And when we're on the playing field, playing a game, we look like a good team. But when we actually had a microscope on something, it made us look like you. And I think that's what you're trying to identify. That before it looked like you were pressing jobs really well.
Yep.
But when you shone a microscope on that and used tools to help that, you identified and realized, wow, maybe it wasn't terrible, but if you could just make a couple small tweaks, that profit that is minuscule could be,
exactly. Yeah. It's the pricing, and then it's even falls back to the the advertising end of drilling down into your leads, where they're coming from, the sources, because we spend a good amount of money on advertising, and it's finding out what's working and what's not, where the leads are coming from, are they good leads, are they bad leads,
right.
And drilling down into those numbers of your conversion rates, and there's so much.
I'm so impressed because just a year or two ago
Oh,
I mean, you weren't even saying anything.
No.
And you sound like a pro right now.
No, I'm still learning. See, I mean, it's because of y'all just working with us, and but and I'm constantly trying to learn. So there's podcasts that I listen to and people I listen to, and just those little tweaks of numbers of things. Of how much your follow up with your leads and your follow up with your quotes, and little tweaks and things of those can make a big impact on your business. So that's a big thing too.
Something you had mentioned that I kind of want to circle back to when you're saying if you could go back and tell yourself, your 30-year-old self, something, you mentioned quality of customer service. So I guess as a business owner, it's always hard to balance, not just quality of customer service, but also telling the customer sort of what they need and like being honest and being the expert in your field. So how would you say you give quality customer service and hone in on your expertise to clients when you're on a site?
Well, trying to set up the expectations going in. So, trying as we get into the process with the customer, it's showing them how we're going to take them from the beginning to the end so that their expectations are set. Because doing a remodel it sounds great, but, if you get into a big kitchen remodel or a bathroom remodel or an addition or something with a customer, that first day it's all, yay, we're happy, we're getting something done. But then you've got multiple people coming in every day, and it's kind of, especially if they're trying to live through the process, realize the swings of emotions, of there's 10 people working one day and one person the next, and, these various swings, and seeing their home, and it's kind of chaotic for a little while. And getting them through that point, realizing, hey, this is what's going to happen, and be prepared for it. It's going to be messy, it's going to be loud, but you're going to start getting to certain points where you're going to start seeing that picture come together of what they dreamed their kitchen was going to look like, or their bathroom, or some addition or screen porch, or whatever it is we're doing. Setting up the expectations, don't just not explain it to them, and once you do that, it kind of makes it a lot better.
How would you say you navigate difficult customer emotions? Like if they're feeling overwhelmed or they hit a breaking point at one point during construction, because I'm sure that probably happens at one point or another if there's a bunch of people coming in and out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just being able to sit down and talk to them.
Gotcha.
And just say, hey, what's going on, because there is, like I said, those emotional swings.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to sit down with them and explain to them and be in constant communication. So, part of the one of the bonuses of the co-construct program is, email chains and tracking of messages, and, so that communication is constantly open. And they've also, homeowners get their own kind of homeowners portal on that. And so they're able to see schedule, the photos and things that are going along with the project, and if there's alterations and changes, and so if you're communicating everything that's involved in the business, you're less likely to have issues. But if you do, it's just spending time, sitting down with them, and talk through it.
I think it's something that you just mentioned is communication. So many times we've heard that, I think, throughout a lot of our podcasts, just communication.
Yeah.
And in today's world, people want that information at the fingertips and
Instantly.
And that portal is just one great example that sets people at mind, even if they don't ever use it, just to know that they can.
Exactly.
It's kind of like our dashboards. Most of our clients never look at it, but it's okay. Richard,
Occasionally. I did look at it the other day, actually.
That's good.
I did look at it the other day.
Kevin, that Richard's looking at it maybe once this year. But anyway, but the point is, it
Probably.
It puts you at mind just to know that it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
and that communication can be transparent. So, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to just dive into some more things, but specifically um, looking at how Richard's been able to delegate responsibility to the team and some of the obstacles that he's overcome with that.
Throughout our podcast, you'll hear us discuss a variety of marketing tools, but one of our favorites is Google My Business. The exclusive features Google My Business has to offer are a fundamental part of growing your business and launching a successful marketing campaign. Do you want to learn how to unlock all the secrets of Google My Business and grow your customer base? Check out our free webinar, Unlock the Secrets of Google My Business, under newagency.com/unlock. That is nuagency.com/unlock.
Welcome back to the podcast. Before the break, we were talking about all sorts of things, the coronavirus, Vegas. Actually, we didn't talk about Vegas. We talked about Vegas before the show.
Yeah,
The pre-show.
The pre-show. So, Richard, if he's going to take a vacation, going to Vegas is where he goes. It sounds like
It's one of the places.
one of the places. Okay.
No cruise ships.
No cruise. Yeah, especially
Smart, not now.
We'll stay away from the cruise ships
Especially
for a
not
while.
now.
Yeah. That must stink for their business model right now.
Yeah.
I would.
Cruises are fabulous too.
I've never been on one
I've been on
before.
like 15 cruises,
Wow.
And it was scary.
and they're
about-
wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, but like the cruise concept of being on a cruise and being potentially sick around people was already there, and then you add like this bubonic plague that we have.
And you're confined and have nowhere to go, and you just nope. That sounds like my worst nightmare.
Recirculating air
Ah.
there, and it's just
I'm convulsing over here thinking about it. Let's stop. Okay. Whew.
Well, I'm going to tie the whole cruise ship thing back to business, because I think sometimes we're in our own head. We are constantly thinking about how do we improve, and we don't necessarily get beyond ourselves on how to learn.
right.
And I think that can definitely cause some issues. So what would you say is one of the biggest obstacles that you've overcome in business, and how did you address it?
Biggest obstacles.
Just a couple.
Biggest obstacle.
Well, pre-show, you talked about a little bit how actually having employees can be difficult sometimes. And
Yeah. I guess. I'm trying to think. What is my biggest obstacle? Employees are not like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what's my biggest obstacle. Guess I should have been more prepared.
No,
No, it's fine.
Well, let's try something else.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is one of the hardest things about running a business?
The hardest things about running a business. Just having 14 employees depending on you. The financial obligations of the business, cash flow. That's a huge. I had that discussion with some of my employees earlier this morning about cash flow and the simple process of, we have a bunch of projects going at once, and everybody needs to be paid on time. And, I've got some customers, we do some work for some other larger contractors that pay once a month. But my material bills come due, my labor wants to get paid, and the same thing with even some of our smaller projects. It's billing on time, collecting on time, because that cash flow drops, but everybody expects to get paid. That can literally basically put you out of business. I mean, that was one of the strange things about realizing with the growth. We would grow with vans and equipment and people and office space and insurance and all of those those things still have to get paid. And, you know, we're working really hard, I should say, on, with our scheduling, having certain checkpoints in jobs where we know to automatically bill the customers, so that we can kind of smooth that process out. Because, with that much going on, you can just see that bank account rise and fall and crash and rise and fall and crash. And you're trying your best to just keep that thing smooth as possible so that, you can pay all your bills and take care of all your people.
I would say, like, if everyone just pays all on time, like, it would just fix it. Like,
Yeah.
like everyone, like, just everyone in the world.
Yeah, I mean, we were just finishing up a big project over at Wake Forest, and, my material bills on that were like $90,000, and that bill's due, but we haven't gotten paid yet. And so you're like, okay, that's where that cash flow comes in, from making sure everybody's paying on time, because you do get these larger projects and things that go on that you got to cover those expenses.
How do you deal with that stress? I mean, just hearing you talk about that, I'm obviously not a business owner. I'm just an employee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. But I just, hearing you say it, and you still sound so level when you say it. I mean, it might not have been that way at one point or another, but how do you handle that stress and keep your cool?
I guess, I mean, I can handle the stress,
Okay.
but, deep down, it kind of just really sometimes gets you. And my wife handles most of the financial end and kind of overseeing the books and stuff. And so when things start getting out of line, she's the one screaming, hey, we need to collect these money from these customers, and we got these bills to pay. So she's kind of the one keeping me in check, and keeping us all straight at the company. But after doing it for so long, you kind of, I wouldn't say expect it, but you just kind of get somewhat used to it, and you just learn to do the things better so that it happens less often.
Well, let's end with kind of two different questions. What is the best thing about running your own business for you?
The sense of accomplishment, just knowing that, this is something worked really hard at, and, knowing where the business is, how far the business has come over the years, and, feeling good about being able to have 14 employees and support those families, and support the suppliers and vendors and all the people that are involved, because there's so many people beyond just, thinking, oh, well, I've got this business, but all of these people that we affect in this local economy, and, that's a sense of accomplishment, knowing, what we're doing, what we're going to do, where we're going. Just love it.
That's really cool. I definitely would have to agree with you on that. So, we have a lot of people on our podcast, obviously listening. And so just to wrap up, what would you say just a good piece of advice to other home service providers? Just if they're starting a business or in a business and they just feel like, nothing ever is going the way it needs to be. Like, what was just one or two pieces of advice that you give them?
I'd say seek out mentors and people who have been through it. One of the things that I've been utilizing a lot lately is people who have been through this process and how they overcome the obstacles. And because I've felt going along for the last couple of years at kind of uncharted territory, going back years, it was me and just a couple of guys, and it was, just kind of working out of your home, and it's relatively simple, it wasn't a lot involved. But then as we've grown and you've got more employees ask for the help, from people who've been in the business longer. And don't be scared to ask, and always learn. Just seek out that advice, whether it's online or friends, family. Ask somebody. Call me, ask me. I talk. I've got a lot of good friends that are in remodeling businesses, and I talk to them all the time, and we bounce things off of each other and different experiences and things that could hopefully help us out.
Well, that's great. I think just hearing, being encouraged to surround yourself with great people,
Yep.
And actually asking people that have been, gone before you. So, Richard, thank you. I'm glad this was not full.
Not full.
Because it would have definitely gone all over you. So, as I'm thanking you for being on our podcast, I spill an entire cup of coffee.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
But anyway, appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sharing your expertise. So on next week's podcast, we're going to be interviewing Dr. Cindy McGovern, and we're going to unpack the importance of sales in your business, because obviously if you don't make sales, your business can't grow, and how communication and leadership are essential for success.
And if you like our podcast, please tune in every Wednesday. We are live on Facebook. And if you like us, please leave us some reviews. We'd love to hear your feedback. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in. And please join us next week.
Break time's over, but thanks for listening to the Home Service Toolbox. Keep your marketing toolbox up to date by subscribing to our podcast. We'll be here every Wednesday hammering out solutions to help your business.